Senior day for the Baldwin-Wallace Yellow Jackets ends in a great way. Baldwin-Wallace wins their fourth game at home in a row, and they win for the fifth time in their last six. Today, a final score of 27-10 over the Heidelberg Student Princes. From George Finney Stadium, along with Josh Renderio, I'm Brendan Gulick. It was not a fun first half. In fact, Heidelberg kicked a field goal as time expired to take a 3-0 lead into the locker room. But BW figured it out. They played really well offensively in the second half, and the defense stepped up to the call against one of the top offenses, not just in this league, but in the region, and they played a really solid 60 minutes.
We were sitting there at the end of that first half scratching our heads saying, where's all this offense that we had talked about? The vaunted Heidelberg offense comes here and really got shut down that first half, but you got to give credit to Coach Hilbert and this coaching staff for really making the adjustment this week to clamp down on that offensive unit. Tyler
Stoyle is a quarterback that averages more than 330 yards a game through the air. He was held under 150 this afternoon. An All-American wide receiver in Demetrius McGee had 55 receiving yards, 21 of which came on the last play of the game in essentially a meaningless play. I mean, the Yellow Jackets really did bottle up just about every facet of Heidelberg's offense. In terms of some team numbers, I think BW will be really happy with the way they converted on third downs today, 10 of 16. They controlled time of possession more than 13 minutes than Heidelberg had the football. I mean, really, start to finish, this kind of has the feel for BW as the game where things really started to come together.
Absolutely, and we see offensively they're starting to build some momentum moving forward, moving into next season, moving into the game next week. Offensive line came out and played great against an All-American, really bottled him up as well. And, you know, for the better part of that fourth quarter, we saw a drive where they killed the clock and got a score to end it.
Heidelberg still got to the quarterback. They created pressure, especially in that first half. They lead the country, or I should say they lead the conference, one of the best in the country in just making chaos on the defensive side of the ball. They had 3 first-half sacks, but the Yellow Jackets kind of buttoned things together after halftime. Some individual numbers for you on the BW side. Jake Hudson played a really good game. He did a little bit through the air. He did a little bit on the ground, but was effective and protected the football through 1 interception, but really that was just the one mistake he made all afternoon. Matt Lowry with several touches. Austin Smith had a consistently steady day. I really think the balance from BW and then some of the creative looks they threw at Heidelberg was just too much.
We saw a series there at the end of the game where they literally came out in one formation and ran 2 plays with Lowry and Will Vance, And, hey, if it's continuing to work, there's no reason to go away from it.
On the Heidelberg side, well, their star running back, Cameron Vokey, who was an all-conference tight end for them a year ago, he finishes the day with 108 yards on the ground, but 49 of those came on 1 run. He then got in the end zone 1 play later, and that was Heidelberg's only touchdown. When you think about what the Jackets had to do to slow down that Heidelberg offense all game long, really impressive. And not to mention Tyler Stoyle, 17 of 37 for 141 yards, and a couple of those completions for big yardage, again, came on the last drive of the game when it was a 17-point lead. And Heidelberg, at that point, look, they didn't raise the white flag, but they kind of knew the game wasn't going to go their way. I really think the Yellow Jackets have a ton of momentum going into next week, and we recognize our player of the game. It is Jake Hudson, who in his final career home game today really stepped into the spotlight in a big way.
And in a game where he needed to rely on his defense, facilitate through his playmakers, he did exactly that. Made the right plays outside of the 1 interception and really facilitated his offense in closing the game for BW.
It wasn't because he put up big numbers. It was because of his leadership and his ability to just keep things moving together cohesively. Great effort today by Jake Hudson, and a tip of the cap to an offensive line that had their hands full and played extremely well. So through 9 games, the Yellow Jackets are 6-3. They've got a chance to win on Saturday next week at Ohio Northern and could finish the year at 7-3, but they've guaranteed a winning record now after having lost to Heidelberg a year ago, a win today going into the final game of the regular season. Again, the final score, Baldwin-Wallace 27, Heidelberg 10. For Josh Renderio, I'm Brendan Gulick. It's been fun to cover this team here after each game all season long. We certainly hope you've enjoyed our coverage. Good luck to the Yellow Jackets in the final week of the regular season, and keep it right here on BWYellowJackets.com.